Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. And I know, my truck's tires are loud. What do you want me to do? I gotta drive an entire 700 miles out of my way to have an actual professional Toyota guy look at my truck. Because I'm supposed to be going that way and the truck's making noise. At any rate, it's really, really amazing to me how stupid our fellow Americans that call us conspiracy theorists. Ha! You guys know what's really going on and have the patents, the quotes, the white papers to prove it? Ha! You're so dumb. You know what's real. It blows me away because Agenda 21, under the guise of this pandemic, is moving forward, and apparently we're in the second stage, where things are going to get ugly. Why do I say that? Because I was just at a store in Tennessee, and the woman behind the counter, not wearing a mask, was explaining to me how they're trying to lock it down again, because 10,000 new cases were found every day in the next town over in Tennessee. And the same thing's going on in Texas, and the same thing's going on in California. And meanwhile, the virus pandemic that's been gripping the United States, 130,000 people have allegedly died with COVID since this whole thing started. We're in the 7th month of a 12-month year. You follow? 130,000 people dying of anything isn't a pandemic. It isn't anything. It's nothing. Worldometer.com. WORLDOMETER.com. Go there and watch the numbers of people dying of HIV, drug overdose, car accidents, heart attacks, influenza, and anything else a person can die from is kept track right there. Not to mention, again, abortions, which nobody talks about. Screw that. Abortions, kill those damn babies. We don't need all them. Because last time I checked, it was at 15 or 20 million. I can't remember, but it was astronomical and still spinning for the year. And we weren't even halfway through the year yet. Long story short, Worldometer shows you what's really real. And 130,000 people dying of anything. And we've already seen the mainstream, not us, the mainstream come forward and say, oh, it turns out those numbers were they died with it, or they died near it, or we assumed it. Same exact thing in other countries. So, with all that being said, 130,000 have died from COVID out of a country with 350 plus million people. Not even 1%. It's nothing. And yet, here we go again. We're locking it all down. When the racial riots occurred, when the protests and rioting occurred, which was good for the government. It wasn't good for anybody else. It's good for the agenda they want to push forward. While that entire thing was going forth, while people were destroying parts of the United States while the law enforcement stood by and watched, or fled, or whatever, or handed it over, COVID wasn't doing anything. It took a break. It respected Black Lives Matter. That's what we have to garner from this. According to what we hear and see, COVID-19 stopped infecting people so they could go out and protest. And doctors and health professionals were publicly stating, stay at home unless you're going out to protest, then get out there and break some shit. Do you understand this is Agenda 21? And the reason I'm so excited is they're doing it again. They're not just ramping up the numbers again. They're not just slowly locking down states all over again, 7th month of the year 2020. They're also going after your food, the farms, and the cattle ranchers. And they're doing it. Canada is trying to shut down their farms because 2 people died from COVID. They tell us. We don't even know that because they tell us these crazy stories on the news, and then after they get the desired result, I wish that thing would shut up. I really do. You know what? Imagine if I crashed live. That'd be a trip, wouldn't it? After they get the desired result with this 10,000 outbreaks a day, 2 months later, oh, by the way, turns out those 10,000 outbreaks, that was totally wrong, not real, something else, whatever. But they understand that over the decades, they have whittled America's attention span down to that below a goldfish. I've made videos on that, showing the scientific proof of them saying Americans now have the attention span of a goldfish because of all the television shows, the way they run them, social media, instant gratification, so forth and so on. And again, long story short, I'm pissed. How is it that this time around they're going after the food more publicly? They want to shut down the farms, people. They've shut down many farms in Canada. That's our neighbor. They've already went after the cattlemen here in the United States first time around. They're going to do it again. And it's strange because behind the pandemic, behind the cure for the pandemic, behind shutting down our food supplies and lab-grown meat is the same guy every single time, Bill Gates. And a lot of people have drawn the conclusion that he's simply a scapegoat. He's not. Bill Gates didn't become one of the richest men on earth to be a patsy. Bill Gates' father was in the Illuminati. Bill Gates' father was one of the elites. Bill Gates' father is one of the people that made it possible for them to kill 15 to 20 million children unborn thus far on Earth this year. They do it every single solitary year. Woe to them that harm the children. Better a millstone be tied around their neck and for them to be thrown into the depths of the sea. You heard that before? Woe to them. I've mentioned abortion and the horror of it. Killing all those innocent souls gives them magnificent power, and they're wielding it over us right now. This entire thing is a lie, and I'm watching my fellow Americans once again just going along with it. Wearing a mask. Covering my mouth doesn't affect my breathing. Is exactly like saying earplugs don't affect my hearing. Covering my eyes doesn't affect my vision. It's stupid. They're simply parroting bad information and getting off the internet and off the mainstream news. It's pissing me off. They're going for all the marbles. Now, I understand right now, God has sent a strong delusion and so many have fallen for it. I'm screaming and yelling for the last few that are still on the fence that need to be woken up before we can't wake them up anymore. Somebody left a comment. Yeah, it's really funny that Richie from Boston here gets to say whatever he wants and his channel stays up. Well, troll, I'm going to call you troll because you're clearly new. My channel was just locked down and I've had 91 videos taken down since this entire thing started. Because unlike others, I don't type it up and read a script to you. You're hearing it straight from the horse's ass. You see what I mean? And sometimes I don't check myself. YouTube does it for us. I can't believe they're doing it again. I always said they wouldn't be able to pull this twice. I'd like to see us at least give them a little fight, people. I mean, come on, man. 2 80-year-old people are driving around in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, passing out stacks of really good information and links that they typed up, they put links, printed it up on their own dime, they're driving it around passing to everyone else. At 80 years old, you'd think they'd say, forget about it, who cares? But they're not. Because they truly believe in God and His Word. And they truly believe that this is Satan doing this right now. And they truly believe that the people that can hear and see me right now should be and would be doing the same. But apparently they're not. So whatever. Let somebody else do it. Because it's all a conspiracy anyways. All will be well. They're just going to shut down the country for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows? We can't do anything about it. This isn't our country, is it? See what I'm saying? I'm out.